crossed.
It's done.
And what have we done, Revan?
We freed them. We did what the Jedi should be doing. We are warriors, and warriors take action.
We're peacekeepers. We're meant to help these people, not act as vigilantes. You're leading him down a dangerous path.
I'm giving him something the Jedi never did. The ability to choose, to act, to be what a Jedi is meant to be. Are you saying that I shouldn't have freed those slaves?
No. I do not make things as simple as they are. You may be right, but I simply ask you this. Where do we draw the line? When is our meddling too much? Who will hold us accountable when we make a mistake? These are the lessons Anakin must learn before we do something like this.
You'd be surprised what guilt can do to someone's conscience. It can work better than any law.
And what should happen if the gangsters decide to retaliate?
We deal with them too.
So we would get involved in politics, just as the Jedi.
Getting involved in politics? Yes, we are. But not under the Jedi. Not under the Chancellor. We decide where we go, who we help, how we help. That's for us to decide.
The road to the dark side is paved with good intentions, Revan.
And yet, we keep walking.
Anakin listens to both sides, but finds himself gravitating towards Revan more. He had to admit their actions that day made him feel good, far better than he's felt in a long time since he began this training, and when Revan offers to take him to more missions like this, he readily agrees. Soon enough, the two of them are raiding pirate dens, freeing more slaves, and hunting down warlords. Although Qui-Gon does try to dissuade them, neither one seems interested in slowing down. Anakin grows stronger with each passing year, but he feels himself pulled apart. Where Qui-Gon sees the Force as a current to ride, Revan teaches Anakin to command the tide itself. But while he sees Revan as a hero, Qui-Gon sees something else, something more dangerous. Imbalance. He's heard stories of the Jedi Master before and studied his life. Back in the day, Revan was infamous for his iron discipline, his control, and pragmatism. But now he grows more into a loose cannon, not letting himself slow down. Little does he know that there is a growing turmoil within the ancient Jedi. When he lived during the time of the Old Republic, he found it in a time just like this, full of turmoil and corruption. A part of him sees this again and takes it personally, as if it is his job to prevent it from happening again. Although he refuses to admit it, Revan does not let his emotions factor in. His anger and frustration, but most of all his rage. He doesn't just kill those to bring them to justice. He kills them out of satisfaction and bloodlust. He wants to make them pay, and perhaps none more than Nute Gunray. Despite being arrested for his involvement in the Naboo crisis, the Neimoidian remains influential, and the right bribes allow him to avoid prison time, instead being sent to Cato Neimoidia for house arrest, secured by battle droids and Neimoidian guards. This is too much for Anakin and Revan, who, after seeing everything the Viceroy has done, are disgusted at how easily he is being let go. Their anger is so great that they decide to take the matter into their own hands. The two make their way to Cato Neimoidia, sprinting across the suspended bridges as the pair sneak into the pleasure house that Nute Gunray calls his prison. The few guards there don't seem to notice them as they slip through the shadows. That is until Revan's lightsaber flashes, sending their bodies toppling over the edge. There is a surge of excitement in Revan as he watches them fall. The Neimoidian guards soon spot them and panic, their blasters firing wildly as the pair deflect their shots and cut them down. They step over the bodies without a word. This wasn't war, it was a culling. Gunray, clad in silken robes, hears of this attack and hurries down the steps, tripping over his robes as he hears the sound of fighting drawing closer. He barely manages to reach the patio when he stumbles to the ground and a pair of figures appear.
I can pay you triple, no, 5 times whatever you want.
You think this is about credits? This is justice. A long time coming.
Anakin's grip on his lightsaber tightens as he pictures Padme having to deal with this slime. He recalls how Nute Gunray occupied her city, enslaved her people, and killed the Gungans. He sees the Trade Federation's occupation of Naboo. He saw the starving citizens, the powerless guards, the suffering that Gunray had bought and sold with impunity.
You don't deserve to live. This is murder.
This is justice.
Anakin hesitates. There is something raw in Revan's voice, something unchecked. The longer he held Gunray, the more the shadows around him seemed to stretch, feeding off his anger. Anakin raises his lightsaber and brings it down, ending the Viceroy's life in a snap. Revan nods in approval as the two head out. When they return to Qui-Gon, the Jedi Master gives them a look of disapproval, saying they might not realize what they have unleashed. Unfortunately, Qui-Gon is right, as little did they know that Nute Gunray was a part of the burgeoning CIS Council, and seeing one of their members being killed by a Jedi sends them into a frenzy. They demand immediate retribution. As Revan and Anakin have no allies, Dooku finds them easy prey to test their new droid army. Their first escape is from Cato Nemodia's moon, where they make their camp. Commando droids drop from the ridges, their red photoreceptors glowing as blaster fire rains down. Anakin deflects what he can, but there are too many. Revan carves through the closest droids, but more take their place, pouring out of transport ships landing. They hijack a Nemodian freighter, blasting through the blockade just as more separatist ships arrive. From there, the chaos doesn't stop. On Ryloth, they barely make it to the Twilight Deserts before vulture droids scream down from the skies, obliterating their cover. Revan fights like a man possessed, but his frustration grows with every battle. The droids are soulless. You can't feed off them, can't manipulate them. Anakin watches as his master grows more aggressive, more reckless. There are so many of them. An entire army's worth of droids that just appear from nowhere. On Baldemnik, they hope to lose their pursuers in the storm-racked oceans, but Dooku anticipates their plan. Squads of Magna Guards deploy ahead of time, their electrostaffs crackling in the rain. The fright is brutal. Anakin barely pulls Revan from the wreckage of a crumbling temple before they escape off-world. None of this makes sense. The huge army, the relentless chase, and their situation. To try and make sense of it, Qui-Gon decides to depart and try to gather more information. But as they retreat, Dooku decides to turn his attention to the people they once helped. The Separatists know their game. Punish those who harbor them, enslave entire villages as retribution. Revan watches in horror as settlements burn, as innocents suffer because of his actions. And for the first time, he has no way to stop it. Anakin doesn't understand why Qui-Gon is gone. At first, he assumes the old master has abandoned them. Revan, too, is furious. He fights harder, strikes deeper, hoping to carve his answers from the galaxy. But Qui-Gon does not return, and every battle leaves them more alone. The war machines feel endless, like a vice tightening with every jump to hyperspace. Then, after weeks of fleeing, a transmission reaches them. Qui-Gon's voice, calm but urgent. The answers are on Dathomir. Anakin wants to argue. Revan is suspicious, but they have no other options. Their latest stolen ship is barely holding together. Separatist starships are already in pursuit, and droids start to surround them, firing upon the ship until its alarm begins to blare. Cursing, the two have no choice but to bail out. They ignite their lightsabers, blocking the blaster fire, and try to hold them back. Revan and Anakin unleash a burst of force power, throwing them back as the two rush in, starting to cut their way through the droid forces. Hundreds fall on the ground, but more take their place and leave the two on a small rise as the droids arrive. Just as the droids begin their assault, a new presence emerges from the shadows. A captured freighter appears, and Night Sisters emerge from the doorway, firing their energy bows at the droids, keeping the droids back as the ship lands.
You are expected. Come with us.
The last thing Anakin sees before the ship jolts into the planet's atmosphere is Revan's wary expression as the Night Sisters extend their hands in welcome. Anakin and Revan step out onto the rocky terrain, looking up at the reddish sky and towering trees, their branches writhing like grasping hands. The air is thick with dark energy, but both have too much on their mind to fall for it. The Night Sisters lead them back to their fortress, where Mother Talzin stands. To their surprise, Qui-Gon is there too.
You made it. I should have listened to you, Qui-Gon. My anger blinded me.
Perhaps, but you weren't entirely wrong. The Republic is rotten, and Palpatine is the Sith Lord behind it all. Your actions upset their plans and forced them to act. Everything shall be revealed.
Long ago, Sith took much from me, from my people. My son was stolen by this Sith Lord to be used as his apprentice, Darth Maul. But he returned to us, thanks to you. For that, we owe you a debt. Now we shall help you upset their plans.
A shadow moves from the mist, stepping into the flickering torchlight. Maul, his yellow eyes burning with intensity as he assesses the newcomers.
Count Dooku is coming. He will bring his droids, his war machines, his cruelty. Let them come. My master threw me aside when I failed him. Now I shall make sure he pays too. So what do? We take a page from your book, Revan. We fight. We must end the war here before it can...
Brewstew.com.
When I was 10 years old, I was a Cub Scout, and the most important thing to a Cub Scout is getting a fucking pocket knife. That's why you became a Cub Scout, because you heard you could get a goddamn knife. And everybody's like, well, don't you want to earn merit badges? I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking earn merit badges. How am I going to impress a Girl Scout with my goddamn merit badges? No, you fucking show them your sweet-ass pocket knife. That's what you do. Yeah, check that shit out. I could fucking cut down a tree with this damn thing. Now, in order to get your pocket knife, you first had to earn your whittling chip card. And your whittling chip card basically said, hey, motherfucker, I'm packing a fucking blade, and I know how to handle this damn thing. Now, one weekend, we were staying in a cabin